On July 14, 1518, a woman named Frau Troffea began dancing in the streets of Strasbourg. She couldn't stop. She danced for 6 days straight without rest. By the end of the month, 400 people were dancing uncontrollably, and many would dance themselves to death. This is not fiction. This is the most disturbing medical mystery in history. The dancing plague of 1518 is documented in physician notes, cathedral sermons, local chronicles, and Strasbourg City Council records. Paracelsus, the famous Swiss physician, personally examined the victims. Historical documents from the Strasbourg Municipal archives confirm at least 15 deaths per day at the plague's peak. These are facts, not folklore. Frau Troffea, a housewife in Strasbourg, suddenly began dancing near a shrine on July 14th. Witnesses say she appeared terrified, not joyful. Her husband tried to restrain her, but she broke free and continued dancing. She didn't eat. She didn't drink. She just danced. Local physician records describe her feet as bloodied and raw, yet still moving. Within 4 days, 34 people had joined Frau Troffea. By week 2, 100 people were dancing. By August, 400 citizens were affected. The dancing was concentrated in Strasbourg's public spaces, the grain market, the horse fair, and outside churches. Historical chronicler Daniel Specklin recorded that they danced day and night without interruption. Physician Johann Schenck von Grafenberg documented the symptoms in detail. Victims experienced muscle spasms, hallucinations, and chest pains. Many screamed that they were drowning or that their blood was boiling. Some begged for help while their bodies continued dancing against their will. The physician noted that their eyes showed terror while their bodies showed joy. According to Strasbourg Chronicles, people began dying after dancing for days. Heart attacks from exhaustion were most common. Strokes occurred from dehydration and heat. Some literally danced their feet to the bone. The Strasbourg Chronicle reports that many fell dead from their toil, their hearts gave out. The exact death toll remains disputed, between dozens and hundreds. The Strasbourg City Council consulted physicians who declared it hot blood, a natural disease. Their prescription was more dancing. The council built wooden stages in public squares. They hired musicians, drummers, and pipers to play continuously. They even paid for professional dancers to encourage the afflicted. This is documented in city expense records from 1518. The stages made everything worse. The music attracted more dancers. Sebastian Brandt, a witness, wrote that the authorities thought to help them by providing music, but it only spread the madness further. Musicians later refused to play, terrified they would catch the dancing plague themselves. One drummer's account survives, stating their faces were twisted in pain, not pleasure. Strasbourg in 1518 was experiencing extreme hardship. A severe famine had struck in 1517. Syphilis was spreading rapidly. Smallpox had killed hundreds. The poor were taxed heavily while watching the rich feast. Bread prices had tripled. Many believed they were cursed. The city was a powder keg of stress and superstition. Medieval Strasbourg believed in Saint Vitus's curse, that the saint could inflict uncontrollable dancing as punishment for sin. This belief was widespread in the Rhine region. Previous dancing outbreaks had occurred in 1374 in Aachen and 1463 in Trier. Citizens genuinely believed angry saints could possess their bodies. This religious context is crucial to understanding their terror. Chronicles name specific victims. A pregnant woman danced until she collapsed and miscarried. A young boy named Hans danced for 8 days before dying. A guildmaster abandoned his workshop to dance. A priest left mass to join the dancers. These weren't nameless masses. They were bakers, mothers, merchants, and children with documented lives. Modern historians first suspected ergot poisoning. Ergot fungus grows on damp rye and contains compounds similar to LSD. It causes hallucinations and muscle spasms. Medieval people called ergotism St. Anthony's fire. However, ergot causes convulsions, not rhythmic dancing. Plus, why only affect some people when everyone ate the same bread? The theory doesn't fully explain the plague. The strongest modern theory is mass psychogenic illness, psychological stress, manifesting as physical symptoms. Under extreme stress, the motor cortex can malfunction. The behavior spreads through social contagion. We've seen this in modern times. The Tanganyika laughter epidemic of 1962, the Leroy twitching outbreak of 2012. Groups under severe stress can develop shared symptoms. Witnesses described dancers as being in trances. They didn't respond to their names. They seemed unaware of their surroundings. Modern neuroscientists recognize this as dissociative disorder, where conscious control separates from motor function. The brain, overwhelmed by stress, essentially disconnects. The body continues patterns while the mind retreats. The 1518 plague wasn't unique. In 1021, 18 peasants danced to death in Bernburg. In 1237, children danced from Erfurt to Arnstadt. In 1278, 200 people danced on a bridge until it collapsed. In 1374, thousands danced across the Rhine region, always during times of hardship, always spreading like contagion, always ending mysteriously. After failed medical treatments, authorities turned to religion. They banned music and dancing. They conducted masses and prayers. Most importantly, they organized a pilgrimage to the shrine of St. Vitus in Saverne. Dancers were taken to the shrine in wagons. They prayed, made offerings, and received blessed water and bread. By September 1518, the dancing stopped. Those who survived the pilgrimage reportedly recovered, but medical records show many suffered permanent damage, destroyed muscles, damaged hearts, chronic pain. Did religious intervention work? Did the plague simply exhaust itself? Historical documents don't provide clear answers. The dancing just stopped. The famous physician Paracelsus visited Strasbourg shortly after. He interviewed survivors and studied records. His conclusion was controversial. The dancing was voluntary, driven by voluptuous ideas and social suggestion. He blamed improper fasting and pagan festivals. Modern historians dismiss his theory, but his detailed notes remain our best contemporary medical source. Few first-hand accounts survive, but those that do are chilling. One survivor, recorded in church documents, said they could see and hear, but their body was not theirs. Another stated it was as if invisible strings pulled their limbs. A third claimed they prayed for death, but their feet would not stop. Their testimony suggests conscious minds trapped in uncontrolled bodies. The dancing plague devastated Strasbourg's economy. Markets closed. Workshops stood empty. Harvests went ungathered. The city spent enormous sums on stages, musicians, and medical care. Trade routes avoided Strasbourg, fearing contagion. It took years for the city to recover economically. Some historians argue this economic disruption was the plague's longest-lasting effect. 16th-century physicians had no concept of psychology or neurology. They understood the body through humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. Mental illness wasn't recognized. Stress-induced illness was unknown. They treated what they couldn't understand with bloodletting, prayers, and herbs. Today, we recognize the complex relationship between mind and body. Mass psychogenic illness still occurs. In 1962, Tanzania experienced a laughter epidemic affecting 1,000 people. In 2011, Leroy, New York, saw 12 teenagers develop uncontrollable tics. In 2019, Malaysian schools reported mass hysteria events. Social media accelerates these outbreaks. The human brain hasn't changed. We're still susceptible to social contagion under extreme stress. Historians still debate the dancing plague's reality. Some argue numbers were exaggerated. Others question if dancing was the right translation. Perhaps it was shaking or convulsing. But multiple independent sources confirm the essential facts. Hundreds of people experienced uncontrolled movement that spread socially and caused deaths. The core event is historically verified. The dancing plague left deep scars on Strasbourg's culture. For generations, dancing was viewed with suspicion. Public festivities were restricted. The event entered folklore as a cautionary tale about excess and sin. Even today, Strasbourg's museums display artifacts and documents from 1518. The city hasn't forgotten its dancing dead. We'll never know what started Frau Troffea's dance. Was she mentally ill? Did she eat contaminated food? Was it a religious ecstasy? A protest against oppression? Her motivations died with her. But her dance sparked one of history's strangest epidemics. One woman's unexplained action changed hundreds of lives and puzzles us 5 centuries later. Why did it stop suddenly? Why mostly women? Why dancing specifically, not other movements? Why didn't it spread to nearby cities? How many really died? These questions remain unanswered. The dancing plague resists simple explanation. It exists at the intersection of history, medicine, psychology, and mystery. The dancing plague teaches us about human vulnerability. Extreme stress can manifest in unexpected ways. Social behaviors can spread like viruses. Groups can share symptoms without physical cause. In our age of global stress and instant communication, understanding mass psychogenic illness is more relevant than ever. The dancers of 1518 warn us about the power of collective anxiety. The 1518 plague contributed to medical understanding of psychosomatic illness. It's cited in psychiatric literature about conversion disorders. Neurologists study it for insights into motor control. Social psychologists examine it for mass behavior patterns. This tragedy became valuable scientific data, helping us understand the mysterious connections between mind, body, and society. The last official record of the dancing plague is dated September 1518. A city chronicle simply states that the dancing malady ceased by God's grace. No explanation, no analysis, just relief that it ended. Frau Troffea's fate is unknown. Most dancers' names are lost, but their strange suffering echoes through history, reminding us how much we still don't understand. The dancing plague of 1518 remains one of history's most documented yet unexplained events. It shows us that 5 centuries of medical advancement still can't fully explain human behavior. Sometimes groups of people do inexplicable things for reasons we may never understand. The dancers of Strasbourg danced at the edge of reason, and perhaps that's where the deepest human truths are found.